Hello and welcome to Stampscapes Friday Night Live. We're going to try to make a hidden window card here. And let me get some space here. I'm running out of space. I tried this yesterday and I totally geeked out on the end result. It's so much fun to do. This one I based around rocks so that I would have easy shapes to cut out. Okay, I don't want to cut around like a bunch of, you know, complex shapes. So these ones, rocks made for easy, kind of natural forms to cut out, and then we have all of our natural, our little flaps here revealing our little hidden imagery or whatever. I guess you can put notes in there, whatever you want. It'd be kind of fun. You can hide anything, and it's kind of like a little game to, figure out where those things are and to open them up. You can do a advent calendar of any type. We're coming up on Halloween, so I'm just using the Halloween as a theme. Hello, Patty. So, all right. So here's what you do. You can do this on whatever you want, but I'm making it fast for myself. So what I did was I took some of the vintage paper, and this one's going to be a wooded one. Okay, I'm going to have all these hidden little things behind, largely behind tree forms, tree trunks, okay, because this is going to be easy for me to cut out, okay? I'm not cutting it around, some complex forms like this where I got to go in and out or something like that. I guess you can just do a little, sloping thing, but I don't want to cut around too many things, and it's easy to cut around straight edges. So, that being said, this vintage paper is going to give me a big head start for this overall look in terms of toning, but it's flimsy, okay? So I've mounted it on top of a nice thick sheet of 10-point cardstock, okay? I just happen to use the glossy, but you can use anything. And then, if this is going to be my surface here and you're going to be opening up flaps and within wooded forms, so I've mounted some of the wood grain paper on the inside. So when you open the flap, this is what I learned from yesterday. You open those flaps up, and if it's just the white piece of paper, it doesn't look good. And then in the back of, inside the tree trunks or whatever it's supposed to represent, I have this wood grain paper in here. So you're going to be opening this up, wood grain on the flap, wood grain in the background. Okay, so I've mounted this onto a piece of cardstock as well, and those two will get sandwiched together, opening up little doors revealing wooded forms, wooded textures, okay? So it's going to give me a really big head start in terms of, I don't have to do anything to the background in here. It's not going to be white, so I don't have to color anything in. And the flap is going to be this texture in here, so that takes care of that too. So, for the most part, we're just talking about black ink here. You can use white. I'll use some white in here too, but like coloring and things like that, if you want to do something quick, it's a good way to go with just these pre-printed types of papers. So, like I said, you can do, you're doing a fall color scene or something like that, and you use orange, or something like that, or I don't know, pre-printed paper, showing, fall foliage or something like that, fall colors, maybe an abstract one. But I think there's a lot of different types of opportunities for this type of hidden window thing. You can have like little hidden word things. You can write stuff behind things. We can open up things to reveal, a plain paper, and it can reveal, a holographic, cardstock, something like that. You know what I mean? You can do spatial things. You can do planets and holographic papers, whatever. I think that would be pretty cool. You can do aliens or something like that, but kind of working in theme, it seems like it'd be pretty cool. I was thinking if you have a bunch of insects, you had this kind of whole planted thing with a bunch of plants, you open up a leaf and there's something there, or a piece of wood, and that could be something else. I don't know if you have a termite stamp. But you can do all kinds of, it opens up the doors for kind of sequential and thematic types of applications for your stamps where, it's just looking at things beyond the surface. So Hello, Cynthia, Ginger. Good to see you. How are things going with everyone? Did you all have a good weekend? Or a good week? Week. We're coming up on the weekend here. See this? I'm like in my I'm in my stamping zone after doing one of these yesterday. Okay, so I'm going to do some large things in here too. This is going to also expedite my entire process. So, different tree forms here. I'm thinking about doing a fallen tree right here that, I can open up something big here. Okay. That's the thing about these windows. If you're making the windows too small, it's going to limit us to what we can put inside of them. That's why I'm going full page here. I think it's going to make it easier on me to complete this, in a very quick manner, the larger you go. Usually, sometimes, if we're stamping on a white piece of paper, you have more to color in. You know what I mean? So sometimes that's a little bit more daunting, but this, everything's like faster, going bigger in some ways, because you don't have to work around really small little spaces and try to accommodate things from that standpoint. So bigger the better, I don't know, but we can do more hidden windows on something like this as well. I guess you can do a hidden window card, like a quarter page. It'd probably be like one or two hidden windows, I guess, maybe. I want to do something with my Greco-Roman pieces where there's these two columns right here, and it, entablature or whatever up top, steps, and then there's something there, but then you open up that, and it's like the window to, like a space scene or something like that. Wouldn't that be kind of interesting? Or you can put that, I don't know, something in the background, I don't know, with like this eyeball on the top of some holographic cardstock. I think that would look kind of interesting, like it's this eyeball floating in space. You start thinking about, a little differently with the hidden window theme, I think. Hello, Bonnie. Okay, so let's try to get this. I'll try to get this done reasonably fast here. I don't know if I inked all the way down here, but let's go about like this. I'm going to have other types of grass textures and things like that down here. I would normally stamp the grass texture first, and I would put this on top of it, but I'm going to work a little bit out of my traditional sequence because it's a little bit faster, and this entire thing's about all these hidden little windows anyways, so and not that the overall composition isn't important, but I don't know, it's just less important. I guess what it is I'm looking at the overall, I guess, but it's really like, if you see the overall scene normally, and there's, what I mean, that's what it is, then that's what we're concentrating on. But when I do something like this, it's like I'm looking at little areas and looking for that little window to open up. So, you know what I mean? And then you're revealing these little things. So it's like these little snippets, I guess, more than the overall. And they dominate, they dominate the I don't know, whatever the attention, I guess, of the piece. Okay, so that one's going to be a fallen tree. This Brilliance Black re-ink, boy, that's giving me a nice, really good dark impression here. I was surprised at that one. Okay, let's see. Let's put this one a little bit higher up. I'll go a little bit in from the edge, I think. It already looks kind of weird with this heavy, heavy angle that I'm creating right here. This is what I've been telling everyone. That I'm sending out, samples of the, these different types of papers too. Especially this one is. What you do is you want to stamp and then hold it for a little bit, to really allow that ink to transfer. If you're using the Brilliance inks, it'll transfer and it'll start to dry a little bit. The StazOn ink will transfer and like completely dry for the most part. I mean, it might be a little bit damp, a couple seconds after you do it or something like that. But this one is a thicker one, so press and hold, and you'll get a really good impression on there. All right, so let's go a little bit of smaller version of this. It's still pretty big though. This is, by the way, these are the Art Foamies versions of these stamps here. Okay, so here's what I was thinking about doing too. When I cut this out, I'm not sure if I'm going to cut out an interior where you're opening that, or do we, is the flap going to be the entire tree? I don't know. I think on this one, like here, actually, I don't know now. See, if I had a bunch of like soft grass down here already, like it's laying in like some bushes or grass, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do that, and I still don't. Oh, okay, so that being said, what I pulled out here was this rock right here, so that if I stamp this going into this, I'm going to have this clear area to cut out from, okay? Because right now I'm not sure where I'm going to do it here. Am I going to have a cut line within there or not? I don't know. I'll show you what I mean when I get to it, but that's my general kind of thought process when it comes to this. Okay, I think I'm going to put this rock behind there. Speaking of that, so a little bit of rocks within the wooded field, I think, for later cutting ease, or I don't know, whatever, easier cutting at least. Okay. I mean, it's not hard, but the most time-consuming part about this whole thing, I think, is the trimming of all those little windows. And again, it's not hard or anything like that, but I just don't. That's why I did it with all rocks in my previous video last night, because they all have like really definitive edges and segments within those rocks, and boulders and all of that type of thing. Has anyone ever made a advent calendar type of thing? Or stamped anything else like that? I was thinking that would be pretty cool. But I think it would be like a 1 week countdown though, as opposed to like the entire month. It'd be a little bit too much, I think. To have to do like 20, 30, 31 windows, for Halloween. Like, that's like impossible. Unless you made it like a series of these, I don't know if I have enough, I don't have enough Halloween types of imagery to do something like that. I'd probably start running out of ideas after, I don't know, 20 little things behind windows. Okay, got that. I'll put a rock down here too, I think. Do I want that down there? Yeah, let's do that. We're having warm weather here too. I should switch back to a a monochromatic me up there in the corner. As I've mentioned in other videos, when someone asks me, hey, why are you like in a like grayscale or black and white, I said, like sweating like a pig in grayscale doesn't look as bad as, in full color here. Yeah, we were like back up at 90 degrees again this week. Okay, so yeah, those rocks down there. And then we'll put a bunch of like brush in here or something like that too. Okay, so I have a couple, kind of hiding places. I can hide something, something down here. I don't want to have actually, I don't want to have a flap that's like too close to the edge like this because I got to tape this off and merge it with the lower area. Although, nah, okay, here, I forgot about it. This is all like wood grain, so, well, I don't know. I guess I can open a rock and it can be wood grain back there as opposed to, rock. But in theory, maybe it'd be better if it was in, like a rock element or something like that. All right. Okay, so one of Linda's comments was, hey, I like that cave, but I don't know if I want to do all that shading on that, on those rocks on an 8.5 by 11. I got that. But here's this vintage paper right here. It's a little bit darker. So, you know what I mean? There's already kind of like shadows and light on these things. So I told her, I mentioned to Linda, hey, it's just, you really don't need to do it on the vintage paper. I added it in there, just to get rid of some of that monotony, but I think it looked okay, without too much of the colored pencil shading on there. I like creating like shadows and light though anyway, but I'd have to admit though that by the time I was doing it for like, like shading like rocks for like 10 minutes, it was getting a little bit, monotonous. And I could have went more, but you know what I mean? It was like, I want to get to the windows, you know what I mean? That's what the thing is all about. So that's why I want to kind of go fast on this portion of the piece. Okay, let's see. I was thinking about adding this little, or not little, but this figure in here. I thought that would be kind of cool. In here, this is going to be some sort of a Halloween inspired, piece. So I don't know. I used that on the previous one, and I thought that would be kind of interesting. But here, so I thought that would be kind of interesting because we can have this open up like this, and I can have like a skeleton back there. This is supposed to be like the stone sculpture, not supposed to be like a sarcophagus or something like that. But I thought, why not why not use it as one? I think that might be interesting. And it might be, rather than just having all, kind of wooded things like this, we can create a little bit more of a focal point with this. That little spot there is kind of interesting. I'm kind of surprised that on this vintage paper they had something like that, such a large dark dot like that. It would seem like it would kind of dominate the page, if you're printing something out on here in the background. A letter or something like that, or whatever they use vintage paper for. It's mostly to print, you run through your printer and print things on, I think, but it's such a big dot, and it's not even that like off on the edge somewhere. It's like right in the middle. I'm just putting this here, and I'm not doing it there to cover it up, but I just thought that this thing would look good in this location here. It's kind of like rule of thirds like this little figure right here. So it's like 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. It's a little bit over because I have this tree here, but then you go 1/3, about right here, 2/3. Okay, so you put the face, the focal point, like in that rule of thirds area. if it's going to be like the dominant thing within the scene. So it's like, see it, like if you divided this up a little bit, you know, like that into 9 squares, it would be like right there. All right, so could do something on that base there. But okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 hidden window opportunities right here. Let's go with the smaller trunk back here. Okay, maybe we'll go with one more kind of thing. So it's like larger, smaller, and then smaller right here. Although this is a big trunk, relatively speaking, but not in comparison to the art foamies there. Yeah, peekaboo card, yeah. I actually have a die for Advent Calendar. A die! Oh my god. You need to crank that up, Linda. Now, I mean, a die, though, that's just going to... That's going to... So you'd have to... It's like if we're doing on something and then the windows are just going to be anywhere, though, right? Wherever the die is situated. Or do you aim like a single die, you know, whatever, however many times for the month or something like, or what, you know, however many days you're creating? Candy's in the low 40s tonight, huh? I thought we were, well, not, I didn't think we were going to get low 40s out here in San Diego, but it was kind of, the temperatures were going down, you know, like a few weeks ago. I don't know, they just like heated up again. I was shocked when I got in the car yesterday. It was 89 on my, on the car thermometer. Okay, let's go with another one back there. That looks pretty good. I'll put one right back up in here. Time to dig through that your supplies, Linda, and check that one out. Linda, have you used it before? Hello, Bugs. All right. I almost want to put another one back here, but will that, you know, like right in there, but there's just not enough space. I'd want a little space between. I don't want this just coming out from here, otherwise it'll just like have this like growth on this tree and it won't look like something in the background. So we'll just we'll put some leaves or something like that over this way. I have to kind of, you know, I guess it doesn't matter. I was gonna say I want to put some leaves in here, but then, you know, do I want to cut into a flap, you know, where the leaves are going over? But I guess that'd be cool, though, you know? Okay, for those who have absolutely no idea of what I'm talking about here, we're going to be creating all these hidden windows in here, and there's going to be these flaps revealing, you know, whatever we put in the background on this, in this hidden window scenario here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I want to fill in right here. I did a video before on kind of general composition. And so I talked about foundational elements. So we can see this as kind of our foundation. And then I talked about filler. So fillers, things that are going to bring, like typically bring all these different types of things together. Textures, you know, additional, I don't know, flora, you know, if it's water, it's the water pattern. If it's land, you know, and if it's grassy, it's the sedge filler, you know, that type of thing. Additional grasses, sand, rock, all that type of stuff like that. Those are the types of things that are kind of the smallest elements, but in some ways they're almost the most important. Or, well, not the most important, but the most universal, I should say. The most important is going to be the, you know, the focal points, you know, in terms of drawing attention to something. But these little things like this, textural elements, are really, you know, kind of foundational in terms of object integration. Alright, so we've created our little grassy areas down here. That'll get shaded and everything like that. Actually, the grass would go higher up because that's right up there. And I could put it higher. This, if I end that grass right there, that would kind of area right there would kind of represent like there's a slope on the back side of it or something like that. So it's like here. Yeah, okay. It's Halloween, so let's make it moonlit. I keep throwing these things away thinking it's, you know, a piece of trash. And it's not hard to, you know, just repunch a 1-inch hole, but I'm keeping my moon template here. White pigment ink. My white pigment ink pad is pretty dry now, but I don't need too much of it right up on this particular piece of paper because I'm applying it into a pretty dark area of that vintage paper. So it should stand out, you know, quite well, you know, without even applying very much of it. Okay. That's a little bit anemic. I guess I need a little bit more. I did it. I've been doing it over like things like this, like paper like this. That's much, much lighter though. And, you know, I have to apply more ink, more layers, you know, of the white ink. All right, we'll go with something like that there. A small die to do a partial die cut. I have never used a die, so I mean, I get it in theory. Yeah, I don't even know if I've even seen people actually do that. I should jump on YouTube and check some out because I love, you know, a lot of the things that I've seen. Oh yeah, I was gonna put one of these reclining women inside here, but I was gonna make them more haunted looking by giving them those glowing eyes, you know. But I was also thinking she would have looked cool down here as well. Kind of this other kind of, you know, this is like a marble reclining, you know, figure, and that's, you know, I don't know, some kind of stone type of thing too. But we have a lot of trees in here, so we're gonna do that. Okay, let's see. Let's add some foreground in here. I'm thinking, do I add that now? And I think so, because after I get these little hinges in here, I'm going to have these like folded areas that even when I plop it back down, it's going to have a little bit of a crease, so I want to get a nice flush print of this. Okay. Cuttlebug. I haven't heard that in a long time. Even though I wasn't that, you know, it seems like all I hear is cricket. A big shot and switch. Oh, it has 6 shapes. I've never used it that I remember. Sizzix Biggs die from Stampin' Up! A long time ago. Huh. Alright, bear with me here. These impressions take a little bit more time because I want that ink to really transfer on these foreground images especially. Well, I want them all to print out, but especially in the foreground right here, we want them nice and dark. Look at this. This looks like I already shaded it here because I already have this kind of vignette going on here with the, you know, that paper. Put a little across that moonlight like that. It can make the moon seem even lighter by contrast by having something a little bit darker right next to it, provided I don't just cover the moon up completely. I'm being a little bit haphazard in my, I don't know, whatever placement of my imagery, because I tend to think it kind of lends itself to the, you know, kind of a, I don't know, spookier, you know, feel, maybe. I see all these names of these things right here. See, I've never even heard of. Oh, the Electric Vagabond. No, I did see that. In fact, I just saw that fairly recently, and I thought that thing. I mean, they made it look retro, right? It was supposed to look retro. I thought it looked pretty cool, though. But yeah, I hadn't even heard of that before. Yeah, she can cut out the windows. Oh, on the Cricut. So are you saying that she can cut out like specific areas? Like, do you scan it in or something like that and designate the area to cut out? Because that's what the scan and cut does, though, right? Oh, does anyone have a scan and cut? So if you did this on the scan and cut, though, you can now. But the thing about the scan and cut, though, see, I want to have this like a little specific area of this cut out, not like the whole thing, right? So can you designate that then? I don't know these things. Those types of things are too, like Cricut and, you know, Big Shot and, you know, the Electric Vagabond. Those things are too big for me. Too complicated for me, for my little brain. That being said, yeah, I need to utilize like that scan and cut specifically. I want to do I want to cut out my fences. And I'm not talking about with an X-Acto blade, you know. But I want to do like pop up like fences and things like that. So, you know, the fences specifically, but I'm sure that, you know, there could be other things as well that come to mind if, you know, if that type of thing works. But I really want to add, I guess this is kind of adding, you know, going into the, you know, 3 dimensions right here too. But scenic stamping, I mean, there are people that have done kind of 3-dimensional types of things before, but it's like, You know, you see a lot of other types of card making with tons of three-dimensional elements on it, flowers and ribbons and things like that. You know, on the card constructions as well as um, I don't know whatever within the subject matter of the card too. But scenic stamping, it's like perfect for things with depth, right? I mean, so like this fallen tree here could be raised, out from the background or something like that. Um, so that's what I want to try to, think of some things to do for that. But see, I'm not, a lot of times I don't even think about you know, the, um, the equipment, the cutters, the scanning cuts, the crickets and all that type of thing, which would make a lot of the process probably, a lot easier, potentially. But yeah, I want to. I need to dip into technology, stamping technology, even if it's stuff stuff that it's been out there for 10 years. Um, all right, so as we're getting there a little bit, let's go with some. Okay, so here's what you do. This is what you do with uh, textural elements like this grass. So see how I put it in the front of something? You can do this with trees as well. But you mask off now and you put it behind something, right? So it gives it more of that three-dimensional type of look, or I don't know, not really a 3D look, but it gives it more depth by sandwiching things in between things. That's why I put like white pigment ink in the background, then I'll put it in the foreground. Then you're kind of sandwiching things between, soft white texture. This one's a dark, sharp texture that, we're adding in here. So this this fallen tree is now sitting in that grass down there. I mean, you can just put it in the foreground too, but I think having this behind there like that, it adds to the, I don't know, kind of the overall um, richness, spatial richness of a piece. Okay, let's do this here too. So that was the larger reeds right there, and we'll go with the smaller one, and we'll put that one right back at this right here. So it's softening up all these 90-degree angles too. Like this angle right here. Now I'll shade it too, where it's not so sharp here on the bottom, but doing things like this, it'll just kind of inherently soften that area up with some forms in here as well, textural forms. Okay, how about... See, this is where I'm going a little bit more haphazard right here. I don't know, maybe it gives it a little bit more kind of movement or something. But like I said, it's kind of that a little bit more of a slightly ragged look. I think looks kind of cool in this, kind of more of a spooky, type of terrain. Jeannie's working on her spooky piece still. What type of scenario are you doing, Jeannie? Is it a land thing, or is it based around houses, or what? X-Acto knife is faster. No, oh, what? What do you mean? You got to program the that die? The X-Acto being faster. that doesn't, if that's the case, then that doesn't, the use of the machine doesn't appeal to me quite as much. I want the machine to be faster. All right, let's see. We're almost done here with this, the main piece, and then, doing all these little cutouts in here. That doesn't really take too long. Now, if we want to add in like a lot of little, subtle details or something like that, then maybe that's, going to take a little bit longer. But these pieces come together relatively fast. What are we at right here? Let's see, where'd my cursor go? Oh, we're at 40 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun. Okay, so if you didn't see, one of the things I mentioned was this is a piece of the vintage paper, but I've mounted it on some stiff cardstock, and then on the back of that cardstock, I've put some of the wood grain paper because I figured a lot of my windows are going to be in the wood, on these tree trunks right here. So I wanted, when you flip this over, the back side of that flap is going to be wood. And then down in here, my little things are going to be stamped on this wood grain paper. So you really don't have to do anything. Like one of the things I learned about last night, I wasn't really thinking about it, was just on a piece of white cardstock on the back. Now, if I knew that then, I would have put another piece of the vintage paper on the back like this, on those rock ones. Or if I had it'd be really cool if I had a rock texture paper to use, where you open it up and the rock texture paper is on the back of that flap. So on the back of those flaps yesterday, I had to stamp something out and do a little bit of coloring in. But now, back of the flap is going to be wood. So if you're opening up this tree trunk, it's already going to be wood, and I don't have to do anything to it. So that appeals to me, especially on an 8.5 by 11 like this. Okay, so speaking of doing some extra shading and stuff like that, I think it looks fine as is. Like, if you didn't want to have to do any of this, you don't have to. I think this looks good and ready to go. And that's just stamping your imagery on here. But I like to bring a little bit more drama into a scene through lighting. So let's do that. So the moon right here is going to be casting its light this way, right? And now this is tree right here. In theory, it'd probably be all dark, but I'm going to left side shade it, so it's going to be right side illuminated. Okay. All right. So anyway, I sharpened my pencils here before I started here. Hello, Froggy Fresh. How's everything going with your projects? I'm just using a colored pencil. It's easy, but I don't know. Maybe what would be faster is just taking like a sponge, with some ink on it, and you can just go like this right there and, darken that in. But I'm going to use my colored pencil here. This is like really fast as well. All right, so you can see this tree trunk now is, just kind of darkened on that left side, and then we'll follow suit. See this tree right here? Let's just do a light shadow work on here. I'll show you how fast this can really be, okay? So I probably spent, I don't know, I mean, I don't know if I spent 10 seconds on that tree, but even if you just do that, where it's being illuminated now on the left-hand side, I think that would be, that'd be fine there. But let's model it a little bit more, so I'll just keep darkening in this side a little bit more, like this. So it's going from a little bit darker, a little bit medium right here, and then light on this side, or you can add a little bit more if you want. Same thing with this one right here. It just takes a few seconds per, pretty significant elements within your scene. Like that. See that right there? So you have this like stronger lighting scheme in here. Let's do the same thing right here. This one's already in shadow, so it's already dark in the background because the paper was already dark to begin with. Okay, and then this one right here, it's pretty uniformly lit, so let's darken it from here, and let's go lighter up this way. Oh, gee, oh, Linda, you don't have any of the, yeah, the vintage paper. Um, you might be able to do something. I would, you ought to do, just do your own paper. Take some like distress ink and just do it over the whole thing. Take some black ink, maybe another one or two colors, and just do it. Maybe splatter some black, you know, ink on there or something like that, some black dye-based ink. And I think we can do our own kind of vintage papers. Now, if it's just going to be a background where you're stamping a bunch of things over the top of it, it doesn't even really need to be, it doesn't need to be perfect or anything. It just gives you, it'll give you a big, big head start for, you know, all of the, the coloring work or the shading work. All right, so see that right there? So now this is being top lit like that. And see this right there? This is what we do in drawing where you checkerboard things. See this right here where it's really, it's kind of light in here and it's light right here, through this whole area right here. So what you do is you just, you just take this area right in here, right back in here, and you make this a little bit darker. So you're going from dark, light, dark. And by darkening this area right in here, you'll make this kind of pop out from the background a little bit more visually. What is that? Feline immunovirus, similar to AIDS in humans. What the heck? C3PO. My scene is on land, graves and dead people, insects. I like that type of description here. When you're most people in most like stamping groups, someone's not mentioning. They're not usually mentioning the components of their piece that they were working on with graves, dead people, and insects. Okay, now see this right here. If you go, you don't have to go real dark or anything like this, but see that I'm doing like a 5% gray here. I'm using a black colored pencil, but I'm just not going, really dark with it. But if you go 5% darker there, then the lighter area right here will seem 5% lighter by contrast, okay? All right, now let's talk about some shadows here. So I'm going to cast a shadow right down here. This moon is kind of roughly, here's the center of my moon, and the base of this tree is going to be about right here, okay? So my shadow is probably going to go like right there, do you see? And it's not like, you don't have to be exact or anything like that, but it's just, to give you kind of a rough idea. If you're not certain about shadow directions or something like that, you can use that type of little trick there, okay? So it's like, it's got a little shadow. Okay, but I'm getting at that because I have this figure right here now. And, that shadow would be going like right here. Everything doesn't have to have like, perfect directional shading based on your lighting. Okay, like I said before, you can do that, and it creates kind of a a nice dramatic kind of feel to it. But you also look at these things like stages. Okay, so you can have like this thing going on, this backlit type of thing, but then you also have spotlights in the front. You have things going overhead. You have a little figure that you want illuminated in here. Then you're gonna have a spotlight on them. So unlike nature or something like that, on a moonlit night where it might be the one source of light. We don't have to be limited to that convention. Okay, you can light anything any way you want to. It's like in a movie or something like that. You want you want to direct your viewer's eye to whatever it is you want them to focus on. All right, so there's, I think that's about it. Let's go a little bit darker right here. Oh, candy? Yeah. I don't know on here. I don't know. Can you tell that the Prismacolors are different than the ink? I think on the matte papers like this, or I mean, this is not. I guess it is kind of matte, but I find that certain ones, when the wax is shinier than the surface, then it shines a little bit more, right? But here's the thing, though, Candy. If that bothers you, but you like the look and control of it, then what you do is you unify it all. So you just spray the whole thing with like a matte fixative, and then it unifies everything from a textural standpoint. You could use a glossy. I probably wouldn't use a glossy though as my first choice, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like say if I had some Krylon UV resistant clear and I don't have a workable fixative, or a UV resistant clear matte, which I've never owned. If you just give it a light coating, it doesn't have to look glossy if it's just like a dusting of tone. But it's an option. If you like everything else about it, then just use the products that are out there that can help unify things. I often like, speaking of that, I often spray seal my pieces after dye-based inks and alcohol inks, because alcohol inks that have that real shiny kind of finish to them, and that really stands out from a textural standpoint. So I just spray seal it, and that and the dye-based inks work pretty well in harmony with each other. And it's good too because they're both transparent mediums. So you get the richness of both of them. The dye-based inks, I get a lot of coverage because I can cover, I can take a paper towel or whatever I'm using, and with like a big wide brush, and I can color things in. But the pens give me something very targeted, so I can color in something very detailed. But then I might see something like that. It's really shiny against something like that. So I get the richness of tone and the targeted detailing, with the brush. But then you just spray the whole thing afterwards. And to me, it also just brings out the colors of everything a little bit more. It saturates the color intensities of both. So it's not just to unify them. I think it looks deeper and richer as well. All right, so I think that is it. I want to do some little highlighting in here too, but I might do the cutting out here first, so we have to think about some different windows in here. I think we'll do this. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to cut the whole thing out, like the arms and everything, where the whole thing's like swinging open. You know what I mean? I thought maybe that might not look good, but I was thinking this up here. And you have to, here's the one thing about these flaps too, you have to kind of think about, you know, the direction that you want them to open up in, and maybe it might be related to what's in there, you know, but not really. Like on this tree right here, I want this to open up and reveal this entity in there, whatever's back there. But I'm going to put the flap on this side so you're opening it up like this. If I open it up this way, there's not very much for me to tape down over here. Plus, I think it's just better, you know, opening up from the inside like that from a compositional standpoint on something like this. I guess you can go like this. I think that'd be cool, but I think it'd be easier for me to go like this with the hinge right here. Okay. But I don't know. This is my second one, you know. So I'm just, you know, that's like everything's like in theory. All right, so now this is going to be thicker too, because I added another piece of paper on here. So cutting, everyone knows how to cut, but you know what I recommend is not trying to get the cut in one slice. Sometimes, you know, you just do it in multiple slices like this, so you're not gouging in there, and you know, you potentially like slip like that. We've done a lot of cutting with Stampscapes over the years with blades and cutting rubber and cushion together for wood-mounted stamps, and it was always when someone was like trying to go like really fast. I started using those metallic fillet gloves, you know, so you know, some fishermen, you know, and they're using it on their offhand. That never happened to, you know, again, but it's happened before. So you know, just be careful. All right, so let's do this here. I think I want to do this one right here. I think I'm going to do a window like, you know what I might do too? Maybe the flap will be kind of like arced like this, like it's, you know, like the shape, or maybe this way, you know, the shape of the you know, the wood or the trunk, you know, it's cylindrical, right? So maybe I'll try to put my cut kind of a little bit angled, maybe. Let's try that here. Okay, so, and I should go down, you know, but I don't want to do that. I just want like nice clean cuts here. I have no idea what I'm going to use behind these windows quite yet. Okay, that didn't go all the way through, so see, I'm just doing another cut. I hope I didn't just cut a new groove there. Seeing if I could see it right there. I can't even see it here. Okay. Oh, I did cut a new groove. All right, I'm just going with the bottom one here. Okay, and then, oh, wait. Yeah, it's opening it this way. Okay. I had to think about all these things here. This is the reason why I don't do some of these videos live. I did this first yesterday. Okay, and then we'll go this way. Does anyone know what a swivel knife is? X-Acto has them. It's this knife on a swivel. But I think the blade is too small on that one. I need this real pointy one like this. to get in these areas. And it's coming out like this. No problem. See this right here? It's kind of popping out like that. So you can then just go in there and clean it up like this, you know. Or what I did yesterday too. Let's see. I can see it right there, kind of punching through a little bit. And sometimes I'll give it a little help from the back side right here. Okay, now I've mounted these on this cardstock to give this flap a little bit more substance right here, okay? Rather than like a smaller piece of paper that's real flappy and thin. So I wanted to be able to go like this, but one of the benefits to going with this thicker cardstock too is I got to get this hinge going a little bit more, but I found that when I popped this back in there, it kind of like snapped back into place really easily, where if it was just like a thin piece of paper like this, you know, it's not going to pop back into, you know, place really easily like that. I mean, this is sticking out a little bit, but, you know, once I kind of get this hinge, I kind of work on it a little bit and put a little bit of crease in there so it, you know, it moves a little bit more like a, I don't know, like a door. Let's see here. Kevin doesn't have much drama. I learn something new from you all the time, Froggy Fresh. You don't hear the word intercourse going on like a chat stream too often, you know, like a live rubber stamping chat stream either, you know. Intercourse and, well, I don't know, you know, like Jeannie's descriptions of her pieces. Yeah, so Linda, it's like we've opened up a whole world for you with the gory. I was looking at Linda's pieces, like especially that 11 by 17 piece, and I thought, you know, you got that red moon up there, and then there's like this red highlights in the water where that moonlight is reflecting on the water. It looks like blood in the water. I'm thinking, yeah, that's, you know, Linda and the horror, you know, have become, you know, like one. Over the last this last year, right, Linda? Was it last year with the monster maps? Okay, so this one's coming along right here, okay? So I'll make this flap right here. I'm trying to make it a little bit arced like that, you know. Okay. Here's, you know, these flaps like this. You just have to kind of, I'm just going to go like this, and I don't know, other people would be taking like a bone, you know, one of those bone folders or something like that. I just kind of, you know, start working it over like that. I know this one's a little bit thick here, but, and then what you do is maybe push it out the back here like that too, a little bit. Just so that it becomes, you know, it's not so positioned in a single direction. And that way it'll close a little bit easier, so like that. I don't know, you can put a little, you know, straight edge right there if you want to. But now, see, there's pieces like this. See, this kind of opens up. People can go like that. But then you can just kind of click it back down. You know, I mean, pretty well. All right, so we have two windows right there. You're watching Friday the 13th. I was thinking about watching that. The original one. I think there's a Friday the 13th like redo or something like that. Freddy versus Jason. I've never watched that one. Have you tried a Stabilo all stable? I know that brand Crystal Fire, but I don't know the Stabilo All pencil. What is that? I'm going to use the Gamma Sol to see if it will affect the stamp image with the colored pencils on landscapes. It makes the piece look like watercolor. Oh, that's a good idea, Bonnie. It's a water-based pencil, soft, great to add. To fix stamping mistakes. Huh? Haven't heard of it. So it's not a watercolor pencil though, but it's a water-soluble type of thing. Fingerprints caused by Doritos. You don't try to fix those fingerprints caused by the Doritos, Froggy Fresh. You incorporate that Doritos into the rest of the piece, and then you spray seal it, you know? Okay, let's see how this one goes right here. I don't think I'm going to do this whole thing right here, okay? I think I want to do... See, this thing has this natural kind of location right here that I can cut. I think I'm going to cut like right here and right here, and this will be a flap going this way, I think, okay? So we'll do this. This thing has little ears, but I'm not going to bother with that. Now on my last piece, the first one, the only one that I've done last night was on those rocks. And when this flap sealed down really good, it was, I almost forgot. Well, I did forget. I forgot where I placed them all, you know. I mean, it didn't take long. I just hold it up there and, you know, see if these little flaps are kind of, you know, popping open, but it sealed so well, and the hidden windows were so, you know, decently camouflaged. It was pretty cool. It came together. It's nice when you get these little kind of experiments that come together, maybe even better than you had, you know, kind of hoped it could. And with this flappy thing, I think that was the case there. Okay, I'm looking for that little puncture pressure line right back in here. And let me do it again up front here. So I'm kind of lifting this up a little bit so I can get that, you know, blade kind of poking through a little bit. I'm trying not to apply too much pressure either, because I don't want to go, you know, one of those things where you go off in a different direction, you know. I want it to kind of follow the path of least resistance where you've already put that score line. It's always those little corners, huh, that we have to get kind of completely punched through, or the beginning of the cut and the end of that. This one's like the end of this cut. Okay, I think I felt it break through. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So this one's going to be this right here. Like that, right there. Now this one, again, I mean, it, you know, maybe it doesn't make sense. The wood is back there and the wood's on this side, but I don't know. So be it. You know, I could stamp some wood texture on that, or, you know, I can add another piece of paper there that's going to be like, you know, I don't know, whatever. Maybe another piece of the, you know, this paper. All right, now here's the one that I was wondering about. This one is like, do I want to cut this like gigantic window like this? I don't know. That might be too big, you know. Maybe we'll do this. We'll go down here where this other kind of on the interior here, and see this line's down here like that. So we'll do it on the interior here. I think this tree is just going to be too gigantic of a window. Now, if I had to hide this thing behind there, maybe, you know, but let's go for a narrower area right here. Maybe I can do this. Dancing figure is going to be in there. Yeah, she's even like small for that. Maybe I'll put her like this, and there's going to be like an eyeball above her like that. But I'm going to do those little glowing eyes on this little dancing figure. So we're going to try to convert whatever, like a charming little figure into, you know, an icon of horror. Okay, so how far down do I go with this one? Let's go down to about right here. And then, let's see, that one. Can't even see it. Okay. And then I'll cut across from here. Where, let's see, where did it start? We'll go over to about right here. Okay, I think I got it in one thing. No, I didn't. Almost. On the first one, I was making much more careful of a cut, but I'm, you know, as I do more of this, I'm getting more used to the X-Acto. I don't do a lot of cutting, you know, not with X-Acto blades. All right, look at that big, big window. It's a window of opportunity in terms of what we can stamp back there, huh? Oh, I might do this in there. You know, that eyeball thing with that sun. All right, now this doorway here is huge. If this is kind of making you cringe, me just kind of folding this back like this, forcing it like that, it's making me cringe a little bit too with the, you know, my sloppy technique right here. All right, so let me see right here. Oh, I forgot about this. So let me have right here. I forgot about this one. Okay, so let's do that one here. It feels weird, you know, cutting into our scenes, you know, like this. Okay, let's see. I licked Dorito fingertips off. It's the Dorito. It's the for me. I don't eat like that type of thing around where I'm stamping too much. But for me, it would be I'd have to be careful with the flaming hot Cheetos. You know, talk about like that. I don't know what it is. I think that thing is like a artificial red or whatever on there. You know, artificial, what is that? Food coloring dye number whatever. Again, this one I'm going to go really arced like this. And I'm not going to go down to the base of the, you know, this trunk right here, okay? I'm going to go down to right there, and I see this line running down there, and that's where I'm going to do my cut line. Okay, and I need to be careful here, too. I don't want to go down too far here because, again, I got to run my tape runner down here and right up here. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, this one's going to be smaller than I thought it would. I'm just going to go to about right here. Froggy Fresh, what you do is, you know, you put like a hidden little thing right here, and then, you know, put that that Doritos coloring, you know, around something. It'd look like, you know, well, it depends what Doritos you're talking about. I'm thinking you're mentioning the nacho flavor or something like that, not the like, you know, the ranch. But if you have that like that powdery red one. The typical powdery red one there, you know. You can use it like pan pastels, I guess. All right. Hey, this one might be my favorite one. It's like this little, you know, it's like this kind of real rounded part of this tree right here. All right. So there we go. All right. So let's see. It's kind of like this. And then what I did yesterday was I just took like a colored pencil like this, and I just put this little these little registration marks right here, like this. Or you don't have to do the whole thing, you know. If I go like this, you know, with that line there, I don't need to do, you know, everywhere. But I just need to, you know, kind of the gist of where these openings are for what we're going to be using in there. But it looks pretty cool though, huh? See, look at that. It's wood against wood like that, you know? That. All right, so there we go. Oh my gosh. So what do we put in here? Let's see. Fingerprint. For fingerprints, I use rubbing alcohol. Okay. Use the rubbing alcohol. Did you use the rubbing alcohol too on that for that StazOn ink on the foil, Linda? Or am I just imagining that? I know you said the StazOn cleaner will take StazOn off the foils, but for some reason I seem to remember you mentioning something about the alcohol. Could always paint the back black. True, true. Okay, let's see. Maybe we should do that. I don't know. Yeah. Or this whole thing. Yeah, this whole one right here could be something else. Or, you know, it would be cool to open up this and now I don't know. I think this would look out of place here, but you know, if this like maybe if I did one of those celestial dials or something like that, and you open it up and it's like this, you know, like space or something in there. I don't know, or whatever, an eyeball in space or something. Well, I don't know. Let's just get some things. Yeah, here's the thing too. You know, I mean, if you ever, I mean, provided you didn't lock it down yet, you know, you can put stuff in here and just, you know, if you want to change things later, you can always just slap something right over the top of it, right? And just glue it down. Like I said, that's before you adhere this top wire, you know, down there. But I think 5 spots in here, I think that's going to be enough. I think we should put something down here too. I can put, you know, a bat flying in the, you know, the distant, you know, the background, stuff like that. But okay, so let's see. There's my little character like that. I think I might do what I was just talking about. I think I might put that little character kind of dancing in there with like some like glowing eyes with that eyeball up top there. I think that might be kind of interesting. All right, do I do this in... Let's do the StazOn here. Craft knife. You do a lot of cutting, Froggy Fresh. You probably, I don't know. I don't know if you used the craft knife on that that trestle, but if you did, you used it like, I don't know, maybe like 2 million times or something like that. All right, let's see. I'm just going to take these things one at a time. Okay, I just need to leave room for that eyeball up top there. See, when you get kind of description, you know, descriptive types of processes like that, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna stamp the dancing lady right here, but I need to leave room for that floating eye. Okay, that. And yeah, she stamped over the top of the the wood grain showing through, but you know, that's it's not uncommon for evil wooded entities to look like that in real life. Okay. So I have window one. Let's just take a, I won't do this for after every one. Let's get these things stamped away. So it's like this, and open that up. Now see, it's a little bit too light, so I'm going to add a little bit of like a vignette in there or something like that. And we're going to, add some tone to that. But, I mean, that's a nice little, treat, I think, like that. To open up a tree trunk and, to see something like that. Okay, so on this one, right here, like I was saying, I think I want to go kind of, something like a sarcophagus. Like I said, it's not, but I thought a skeleton would look really cool in here. Oh. I was going to do my little dancing skeleton, but I was thinking, I'm going to do my little baby skeleton here. This one's by Onion Arts. If anyone ever heard of Imagine Air Designs, this was like another, like a sub line of theirs, like real funky images. That just didn't, that weren't in the theme of, accurately drawn, aircraft. Something like that. This company used to take these wooden blocks and sand it down on all, well, maybe not on that bottom, well, a little bit, all like angles on here. So there's 8, like 12 bevels on this thing, like on a sander like this. And that's like one block, it's insanity. The amount of craftsmanship that went into a lot of wood-mounted stamps, which I love, though, as a lover of all things kind of handcrafted. Okay, so let's see. What are people saying here? Let's see. Rubbing alcohol doesn't taste good, though. I'm not allowed to use X-Acto knives for good reason. I've even cut the side of my thumb and you can use them, Candy, but get one of those. Go to like the the fishing tackle area of like a store, and they'll have like fillet gloves there, and use that on your offhand. So you have the knife in whatever hand you have. I think the fillet gloves are, there's no right or left. I think, you can use them either way. They're uniform on top and bottom, I think. I think my dad used to get them for me. I didn't know where to get them, but they had like a Walmart next to them or something like that. So we used to use mat knives all the time. And I think he got those there. Okay, so I need to do... Some of these are big enough where I can do like a little scenario here. Here's like a hand, and, here's a snail or something like that in the background. Here's that little hand with the eye. I need to pull out some more stamps. I'm kind of using the same ones that I grabbed the other, I don't know, whenever it was. There's another skeleton like this. I guess this is where we can start, I don't know, utilize. You can do something too. I mean, you could do this where there's kind of weird dialogue going on between, the boxes. Like you have something here and here's something up here that, what I mean? They're looking at each other or related in some way. I'm gonna go with the skeleton up here, like that, because he just like you should do it like that, upside down, for something really weird. Now, would that look kind of weird, like that? Let's see. Okay, survey. Skeleton, right side up, impression, or upside down. Neither is not an option. Okay, so there's the upside down like that. Anyone have any opinion on that? Where's Waldo? Michael Jackson gloves while cutting. All right. Okay, so on this one right here, I'm gonna do a little hand right here, going to this eyeball like that. Okay, I got a right side up right here. Does anyone else have any opinion? Does anyone oppose? Or you know what you do is, if you ever have windows, let's say we do it vertically and there's things, you can have like this thing. Oh, and this is what you do. So if you have like things like three things like from top to bottom, then on the top one you have this little thing is head like this. Right? And not on this big of a window, I'm saying, but like smaller ones. And then there's another one down here, and then you have it like this. And then the bottom one, you know, you just have the feet like that. I think that would be kind of funny. Of course, someone would have to open it up in sequence, though, for it to make sense, though, huh? Like 1, 2, 3. Okay, right side up it is. All right, let's go like this. I might angle it a little bit, though. Let's see. It's going like this. I might go there. Do I counter do it? It's like, this is kind of going a little bit like that. Let's just go like that. Okay, I'm going to have it like standing like on this rock, I think, or roughly. It might be floating a little. Well, actually, it might be kind of cool floating, huh? Might be more kind of, I don't know, spirit-like, if he's kind of like floating up there. Or I don't know if it's supposed to be like embedded in the wood or whatever. I don't know. All right. Oh, I should have done it upside down. I'm joking. Let's take a look here. Maybe if you ever get, any of the registration off, it's like, look better like, over here or something like that, then just, stamp it on another piece of paper and just tape it down there. It's like perfect. The thing about these windows, or the things that are within the windows, is that, you can just redo them as many times as you want. Of course, you don't want it to start building up too much, in terms of thickness. But if it's just on a little thin piece of paper, I don't know. I don't know if anyone's going to be that, crazy about it, getting something like absolutely perfect, but some people might be. But for those people, you can always just, redo it as many times as you want. All right, this eyeball is going to be right here. I'm going to put it towards the top of this right here. Oh, okay, so I have this hand right here. I was going to put like that hand like that. Like a bunch of them reaching, but I do have the opposing hands like this. Like that and like that. Like that down there. Although those fingers that look pretty cool like that, though. Let me see. Look like... it's going to be over the top of it like that. Nah, I'm not... Okay. I'm not taking a survey on this one. I think I'm going to go with the bigger, bulkier hands like this. It might not even look like little fingers the way I I'm going to layer this. The thing is, on this one, it looks like it could be like little slugs or something. No rules on Halloween cards, right, Linda? Something like that. See, like that, like that. I mean, when do we have an opportunity, to do that in, scenic stamping? I mean, we can do it anytime, but I don't know. These Halloween-ish looking things, you know what I mean? It opens up kind of different opportunities for, different compositional kind of scenarios. Okay, so let's see. You know what? I might use that hand here. So we have this like skeleton, eyeball. Maybe I will go with these other little hands there. Where'd my hands go? Oh, something like this. I'll put another one like this down here. We can have this coming in from the top like that. And then throw something in the middle right in here. Oh, here. Let's go with this little eyeball again. It's kind of good because it's kind of like three things like that, and in the middle of them are, these skeletons like that maybe. This is a hand too, anyways. Oops, that's the brilliance here. Let me go with the, let me get the stays. Did I stamp those in brilliance? I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, that one's real linear, so he's a little bit anemic. So we'll try to bolster him up a little bit with some additional color around it, with some tone. Okay, that hand kind of frames it off a little bit more. Got something like that. All right, let's see how these look. Just in general, okay. So we had a little wooded scenario like that. Like that. Looks like a whole room in there or something. Here. That cracks me up like that, looking at that thing. There's that right there. Skeleton like that. We really need to add in a little bit of a vignette around that one, and I really like that one right there. Okay, so I'm almost thinking about just framing off all of them with hands. I could put some hands around on this one too. Maybe let's not do that though. I can do that in the future one, but let's just try some different looks on this, while we're playing around right here. Okay, let's try to make this go fast here. I'm just going to take some black brilliance and try to add a little bit of a vignette back around these objects like this. Yeah. I was thinking about doing like a rope around the ankles or something like that, Linda. Okay, so a little bit of a vignette. Hopefully it makes these kind of objects, when you open it up, make it look like, it's kind of glowing back there or something like that. And then see, I have my little registration lines right in here where I can see where that opening is. Anything you want to remain nice and light, just be careful not to tone it out with this. So when you guys are doing one of these pieces, this is your assignment here, to do a hidden window Halloween card, or anything in the Halloween type of spirit here. You are to turn on something, have something like like the Friday the 13th playing, or The Shining, or something like that. Turn off all the lights in your room except for, get a couple candles going or something like that. And do your piece in, that type of, like, setting. So it's like a, you're stamping kind of in the, like method stamping or something like that. Would that be cool? Okay, so we have that little bit of a tone in here, and we'll also do some lighting on these pieces as well. As far as highlights go, okay, so we have that right there. Let's see how that looks here. I might need to use more, I don't know. Actually, it looks pretty good, I think. Now the back of this doorway, I don't know, maybe we should age it a little bit or something like that. I don't know if I'm going to do it on this one. There. See, that little hand stands out a little bit more. That skeleton in the background like that. And then our eyeball hands portion like that. Okay, let's see. So, when you're revealing these types of things too, you want a decent amount of whatever attention, brought to them. Here's a white pencil right here. Let's bring a little bit of lighting into the clothing there. This is like a charcoal pencil or something like that. I'm not sure. So I'm going to be spray sealing this a little bit, but we'll add a little bit of this and the acrylic paint pen. So I'm just kind of illuminating the things that are already light on the designs themselves. So on the part of the hand that's lighter than the other parts, I'm just adding a little bit more of this to reiterate that existing lighting right there, okay? Now this hand right here, that whole thing's kind of light, so you just kind of pick and choose on there. And make it stand out a little bit more, maybe. About like that. The whites of the eyes right here. Some of these fingers, maybe. Fingernails. This one's a little bit too detailed for this. Maybe I can get it on the hip bone. Yeah, let's take a look. I'm just doing these really quickly, almost haphazard. Like that. Yeah, it looks better. A little bit more contrast in there. We get a little bit of lighting coming out from that, our objects. That's just really diffused lighting right there. But let's add in some sharper lighting here. I'll go with my tan pen. I was just thinking maybe I should just use the white just for a little bit more impact, but let's go with this one right here. Let's see. Kevin made me crazy doing these scenes. How so? How so, Jeannie? But now you're doing them now, though. I was going to do these kind of glowing eyes on this dancer. I don't know if I'm going to do that now. Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep her in shadow like that. Her face, obscured. So just kind of bringing out a little bit of the, highlights on there, the forms. Oh, on those little areas on eyeballs like that, it's always kind of a good idea to do that little reflected light like that. That was always my favorite part in my oil painting classes. If we were doing portraits, it's like adding in that little highlight in the eye is one of the last little steps to do. It was always like the most fun. I'm probably playing it a little bit conservative here. Maybe the things that, when you're opening up the little window, it should be a little bit more, a louder, visual statement kind of waiting back there for us. But I don't know. I'll play around with that idea a little bit more. I want to do, I don't know about how quick it would be, but a quicker version, than an 8.5 by 11, type of thing. But we'll see if we can come up with some kind of real fast applications. And for those that you have some of those, die cut types of things, if you try something out, let us know how it goes. Or, I don't know, post it. Post in that Stampscapes 2 Facebook group. Join the group. Don't be left out of the fun. I just sent out a winner stamp to the winner of that what was it, the September challenge giveaway or whatever. She chose the winter ash tree. Look at those little fingernails on that. It's like a gorilla hand or something. Okay, this character doesn't have too much going on, but all right. Let's do a little flare off of some of these, like it's light is emanating from it or something like that. I'm kind of going, there's these little lines surrounding that eyeball right there. I'm trying to make it look like, light is coming out from it like that. Rib cage. I'm just kind of putting lines in areas where there probably isn't a line, but it's kind of hard to see, so you just make it up. All right, I think that should do it there. I spent more time with the highlighting, I guess, than I anticipated, but when I started putting it on here, I thought, that's going to be important because you'll be able to see that kind of those little highlights on these forms a little bit more. And I think these kind of hidden forms should be, semi interesting in terms of, dimensionally. Yeah, so nice and kind of 3D like that. It'd be kind of interesting if you put like something on the back of this too. If any of you know Latin, you can put like little Latin writing on there. Isn't that, the thing that they're always doing, some kind of like chant to, like an exorcism or something like that. But something on the back there would be kind of interesting. I think there's opportunities here. It's just this kind of open area like that. But like I said, too, this flaps here, and maybe I can give it a little bit of a... here, this is not going to take too long. Right here, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a... I'm going to age the back of these doors, flappy doors here a little bit. So I'm just going to do this right here. I'll just go around on the perimeter like this a little bit. I think this will look better. It almost looks like burnt, huh? And it's going to take me all of like, I don't know, whatever, 2 minutes to do maybe. Using the Brilliance ink, not the StazOn. The StazOn would like dry before I even like touched, down on this paper. And for those of you that didn't hear me in the beginning, what I did was I mounted this this piece of wood grain paper to the back of the cardstock that the vintage paper was mounted onto, okay? So it makes it nice and stiff. And these, I don't know, the doors are just kind of a little bit nicer, having some body to them. Okay, let's see. All right, so I get that. All right, so let's see, like that. Yeah, that looks much better, like that, huh? It kind of glows now, too, like that. All right, so I think that looks pretty decent here. Now, just on this piece right here, I think I'm going to throw in... maybe that's too big in there. I was going to throw in some other imagery in here if I could. I don't know if I can now, though. It's pretty full now that I look at it, but I was... Yeah, there's always room for an ant, right? Let's go with... let's do it in StazOn. I guess you could do something too, if you have like hidden little windows everywhere. And, I mean, on this one it's very apparent where they are, but you can always throw in like a bug or something like that that would designate, a little window or something like that. That might be kind of interesting. There's a little trail of some ants. I don't know if you can see them, but they're kind of blended into that background a little bit. But let's see. I'll throw another one right here. I always like this ant image. Actually, my ant image that I liked even more was the top view. I haven't even used that one in years. Actually, this whole forest floor is now crawling with a trail of ants like that. Do you see them like that? Yeah, when they dry, they're going to be a little bit more blended into the background, so I don't know if you're going to be able to see them or not. Okay, I'm not going to use this one again. I've been using this, like, it seems like all my kind of like Halloween scenes use that little Edward Gorey image, although I really like it. Oh, okay, I totally forgot to. Let's just do some little types of highlights on this front scene as well. Let's bring those little eyeballs out a little bit more on this guy. Maybe it should be in white, huh? Let's go for a little bit more drama. He could be peeking out from behind a tree, I guess. It really stands out, though, you know, in terms of that little critter, I find. I mean, he doesn't look like, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, conspicuous. But when you get him down there, you know, it's like such a kind of weird object. I don't know, it seems to me to draw attention to it. Okay, so there's those eyeballs in there. Maybe I won't go too much. Maybe I won't use too much of that white. Those kind of eyeballs in that white like that look pretty cool. So I'll go a little bit, you know, darker, you know, with this more tan color for some other highlights in here. This tree, or trees. When you put the little like illuminated highlights on things, what you're doing is creating visual dialogue between your light source and the different objects that that light is reflecting off of. So light source and reflected light. Okay, I'm going like a really kind of a real sketchy kind of, you know, rough type of application of this that I normally don't do. I'm kind of like sketching it in here. And again, it's kind of going for that little, you know, scratchier kind of aesthetic here, you know, rougher aesthetic. A little bit on top of the rock like this, I think. Or rocks. One of these little rocks would be kind of cool for another hidden window. I don't know. On this one, I went semi-thematic, except for the, I don't know, whatever this object is. I'm kind of spreading some areas around with my finger because sometimes those little crisp little dots kind of look out of place in here than I normally do. So when I go like this a little bit, I'm just kind of spreading that paint around, that acrylic paint. Okay, so down here I think we can go for some crisp little dots or dew on the grass. There used to be a lot more companies with these kind of funkier styles of imagery. There were so many companies around that they would, their type of kind of activity would be to go through kind of these really old books, you know, early whatever 19th century or whatever, you know, all these books that you know that you know halftones and photography weren't being used in, you know, print, you know, to make illustrations. So they had to use engravings to make those types of things. So a lot of it was engravings out of those types of books. And I just posted this video of this guy. There's several videos of this really funky handmade, you know, rubber stamp store in New York. I think it's called Casey's Stamps or something like that. But you know, he talks about it in there about, you know, where he gets a lot of his illustrations from for his, stamps that he's making. He also does custom stamps, but the ones that he's making in repetition, you know, and he was showing where a lot of that, types of things, or an example of where, something like that would, his source material comes from. Okay, now these I'm making really kind of stand out here, and I normally wouldn't do that, but I see these as like jagged little spiny, bushes that you don't want to, that you wouldn't want to go into, because like, look, it's like sharp. I'm normally doing, types of scenes that are really inviting, that want to pull you in. So it seems kind of it's my one opportunity to do something where it's like, you might want to like stay away from it. Or if you're looking at it, it's like on TV or something like that. All right, so anyways, that's a little bit more lighting in there, like so. Okay. I don't know if you can even see it here. It's a little bit better. A little bit out of focus, but you can see, like, the things like going down in here and around in there. All right, so I think now, if I'm not doing this in the, I still might add more things to it later, but I'm kind of hurrying along here in many ways, just to get the bulk of the the stuff down here. But I think we have a pretty good improvement on yesterday's. See, that really looks like it's glowing to me now, with that little extra vignette around the, the bottom portion and the top portion like that. I think it looks kind of like, it looks like we've, we've done that like, that burnt edge type of effect on here, or something like that. But I think it looks pretty antiqued on there. It looks like it's airbrushed or something, I don't know. Or burnt. Okay, so let's see. All right. I use a lot of tape in my tape runner for these pieces, and I want to go reasonably close to the edge here. And one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to mistakenly tape down the wrong side of anything, which would tape down the flap. I don't think I'm going to do that, but there's like, I think there's plenty of space in between these things like this. And I would go down, you know what I mean? I would put that tape in there and underneath here. Otherwise, when you merge these things together, it might be kind of like, it might not seem like it like now, but later on, like these big gaps right in here, sometimes it gets a little floppy, I find, like over the years, if I don't nail things, kind of get things down pretty good in those open spaces. All right, so what we have is, you saw that tape in there, like right around there. So that one space right in there. Let's see, maybe especially because it's on the corner too, I'll just throw in an extra little piece right in there, like that. And all right, this tape is pretty aggressive, but it's not so aggressive that I can't move it around on here if I don't register it really well. Okay. Just find a little touches like this. Here's the Little birds like this. I just call it flock, but in this type of setting, it could be, you know, they could be bats or something like that. You know, they're birds, but I'm gonna put a bunch of them in here, actually. Like that. Let's do it all throughout the background, I think. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It's like Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. All right, so there we go. All right. Let's see. Maybe I should have, you know, played around with those flaps a little bit to bend them back the other way. I think yeah. They're still a little stiff here, kind of pointed up a little bit. But, all right. So hidden windows here. Scenario like that, I think it looks like a decent scene or whatever, but here we go, the reveal. Hello, Heather. Good to see you. What's behind window number 1? You tell me what is there any window that you guys like better? That one cracks me up with that little skeleton because it's like the shoulders, like it's like in the same configuration as the you know, that sculpture like that. This one's probably the most, you know, dramatic there with that gigantic eyeball in there, but here's that hands like that. Hands across America. Like this right here. The little skeleton. He needed something around him, like some little like sparkly elements or something like that. Maybe some glitter or something like that. Wink of Stella. Like this. And we have those eyeballs like so. Oh, okay, so this right here. See, I'm already forgetting about some of my go-to types of techniques on this type of thing. Let's add these little kind of glowing orbs around in here, and I think that'll be a nice little element in here. I need more kind of like magical touches in here, or elements, you know, whimsical things like that. And I did my first proper art stream today. That's cool, Heather. By art stream, what do you mean by art stream? You were having a streaming like live or something like that? Take as much time as I need, Linda. All right, everyone, go get a drink and some food. I can honestly probably spend like another hour just doing like tiny little minutia things. I don't feel like doing it right now, but I could on something like this. I love like little things like that you can do these things, you know, and it starts to like bring it to life. Or I'll do a finishing video, you know, if it occurs to me that there are some other things to do in here. So I was thinking about like doing some like glowing, like greenish, you know, fireflies or something like that would be kind of cool in here. Just to add a little bit of color. So I don't know, maybe we'll do that in a finishing video. I'll just record it. But see this right here? So we're going to make all these things glow too, but look how much more dimension all those little orbs are bringing to the piece. It created another texture throughout the piece, where before we were just kind of counting on, you know, that grass and, you know, the sedge filler and the reeds or something like that. Oh, you did a top-down live stream. That's cool. Do you have one of those little arms that grabs the pad and kind of arcs over like that? I don't know if you can see this one right here that I have in my background. I don't. I see, where is it? This way. I just have it I'm using it to hold a bag of cotton balls now, though, because I have this other arm that holds my thing. But I was thinking about doing another angle before, but I thought, I'm just going to stick with this one camera overhead, and I'm just using my onboard, camera for my face here. A third angle would just confuse me. Okay, so see, there's little things like that. So a little bit more dimensional now, I think. And then let's make them glow, or some of them glow. Uh-oh. And you need to get some more Q-tips here, but I have one left here on my desk. Okay, so I always say this, but if you're new, when you're doing this little kind of glowing type of thing around anything, stars, whatever, in this case it's like, I don't know, whatever, orbs, you really want to be careful that you don't use too much ink on here, because that's going to create a big blob, or a little blob of ink on here. So my pad's kind of dry, so I don't think I need to worry about that. So I can just go in straight like that and directly onto my paper, but you just kind of do a little tap like this. And it's almost like after, 20 taps, and then you get that little glowing thing like that. Okay, and not this big blob of, practically like paint, which pigment ink is. Something like that. And you don't have to make all of them glow like that, but maybe have some crisp, Maybe they look a little bit farther back in the distance, and maybe the closer ones, I don't know, the brighter ones are kind of glowing like that. Hands across America. Yeah, when I said that, I was thinking, man, when was that? That was like in the early 90s, right? I think. Or was it? There's those different types of things. I might be thinking about the early 90s. This artist named Christo was doing this thing up in these hills outside of Los Angeles with these gigantic umbrellas. And it was really cool looking, but there was like a windstorm, and there was like some volunteers, and like this gigantic, like 20, I don't know, whatever, 20, 30-foot wide umbrella, got caught and went up in the air, and it landed on someone. These weren't small umbrellas or anything. They were huge, But I don't know. I thought that was around that time of Hands Across America. Because I remember it was like putting people out in, in the whatever open spaces. All right, so getting there like that. It's kind of adding a little bit more of a, kind of a fun little element to the piece. I think it's kind of bringing it alive, isn't it? Not that it was dead, but I don't know. There's more movement now, I think, in the scene. I think, to me, it is. All right, so there we go. I'm thinking maybe, like for this guy, I'm gonna do that in here too. So it'll be like, maybe some of the these little things are coming out of here too. Maybe, I don't know. I did a demo using a gel press. Oh, okay, cool. I was just looking at some. I didn't watch it, but on my YouTube feed, there was a thumbnail of someone that did a gel press application, and the piece looked pretty cool though. I just didn't watch it because I was like busy doing some other things, but I thought that looked pretty cool. I haven't done a gel press before. but I like what I see in terms of the end results. Okay, so on this one right here, I'm going to do some of these. Maybe I'll do the perimeter ones within here. It's going to bring in a little bit of motion and kind of this, I don't know, movement, as I've mentioned. Into that otherwise somewhat static window. There we go. Let's see, so like that. And yeah, that looks better, huh? It's like it's surrounded by Christmas lights or something like that. Or I don't know, whatever. It's dancing orbs around that, that skeleton like that. All right, so anyways, there we go, like that. Okay, these little things kind of like semi-flapped open, almost make it look a little bit more three-dimensional like that. They're less hidden though, So like I said, I need to get this kind of flattened out a little bit more. I should have rocked it back a little bit more so it's not so bent outward like that. But anyways, there's your piece like that. And let's go through these reveals behind door number 1. Or do you wish to keep your prize or go choose behind door number 2? And door number 3. Not that these are sequential or anything like that, or should be opened in any kind of particular order. But like that. All right, so that is your, your hidden, I don't know, kind of real kind of a crude or rough, but I think, effective, hidden window, card. And to me, I don't know, that when I got done with that piece yesterday, I just had so much fun. When I first, put the things over the top like that, and when I did that first little reveal like that, it was just so much fun. I was mentioning to someone, you feel like a kid kind of, flipping these little things over like this. This is the one that I always kind of forgot where I put it right in there. But see, this one's like my first one. I think this one's more complex now, with the, that wood on both sides type of thing. This one's better, so I don't know. I think, we can play around, too, with all kinds of other things on the back sides of things and play around with the types of things that are creating the windows, too. Like I said, the Greco-Roman things seem like a natural thing, with that, with it, just set shapes, the entablature, the marble steps or something like that. Fun little things like that. And also the windows that they create within the space. You can have, the negative space in there opened up and it's like a different, galaxy or something like that. And I think that would be pretty fun. Pants across America. I love printmaking, and I always liked the looks of printmaking. That's one thing that I didn't have a chance to do in college, but I was doing a lot of printmaking things in high school. We had the traditional letter presses where we set metal type and printed out things like business cards and other things like that. I forget what it was called, the Chase or California Chase. I can't remember. And also silk screening. So I really like the idea of doing printmaking in general. So I don't know. I really should try it sometime. And I like the backgrounds that are created sometimes too with the those presses and how people use them for scenic stamping too. I really like the looks of everything that I've seen with that. So yeah, I'm glad you like it, Linda. So Linda, you said you didn't want to do all that type of toning, with those rocks. So these trees, made for a pretty good kind of window opportunity in here. Look at, here's a little tweak right here. So this is a little area like that. Someone told me, when I was doing that cutout of that little figure in there, she just said, yeah, I don't know, maybe it was one of you. I don't know, was it Candy or I don't know who was saying. But yeah, do like something like this on there. So that was a really helpful tip like that. Or just darken it in like that. I think that looks better than having that kind of that white edge that really stands out, you know, a lot. So like that. And look at this, you can't even see that little area right there. So I'll do that on all of them, or I'll maybe add like wood or something like that down on there. So Linda, yeah. So things like this too, you know, you can do those like monster maps and things like that. But I think it's just an added little kind of bonus thing, you know, if we can do some little things like this where it's like, you know, some kind of little funky little thing going on like that too. And something like this, I've mentioned this before too. You know, you do when we do interactive things like this within the pieces. I think it's just, you know, it's, I don't know, it's like fun little things to add in there, and you know, like things for kids. You know, I think that'd be really awesome. If you sent something to a kid, even if it had like one little hidden window or something like that, or you know, you can open it up, you know, not necessarily this scenario right here, you know, but, you know, you write it up and you have a little note to someone, you know, if it's something cute, you know, or something like that, like a heart, you know, it's like, I love you, and something like this, you know, you could write like, beware. Or I think like I said too, you know, you have this whole back of this area right here. That would be kind of cool. Or you do one of those little things where it's like some kind of sequential piece where you open it up and there's a clue for, you know, the next thing that you open up or something like that. So some kid can, you know, it's like, what is this or whatever. So I used to do those little types of things with my kid and hiding things around the house, and I put some little clue and they go from piece to piece on something like this. I don't know if it works, you know, because you know, they can see where all the flaps are probably, you know, without too much problem. Although like that rock one, that other one, it was a little bit hard to find. But you can just say like go to the ant or whatever, or go to if they're learning something about science, you have like the I don't know, whatever the Latin name for something. It's like, oh, that means it's like, you know, it's a horse or something like that, you know, in there. But I think this type of thing opens up a lot of different possibilities, you know, just beyond something beyond, you know, this panel, hidden panel or whatever. I think you can do sequential things and thematic things to game things, whatever, you know. I think that would be really fun to kind of explore with this type of flipping format. You know, it doesn't have to be like tree trunks or rocks or something like that either, so I think that's a great idea. So, okay, so anyway, so we're working with like these types of papers too. Let's see, I don't have that can of it right here, but in gluing down these types of papers, you know, to the surface like this, you know, these thin types of papers, I'd recommend a spray adhesive. It just makes your work go so much faster. I just spray it like this all over it, and then I'm just, you know, I'm tacking the whole piece down, but you just tack it down to that piece of paper like that, and it's perfectly adhered to it. So I don't have like these kind of little bubbly or rippled areas on the page or on the back side of this either, or on this surface down here. If you're doing like this type of, you know, piece like this, you'd always buy maybe the cardstock versions of vintage papers, and like in this case wooden papers too. But you know, if you want to have a little bit more kind of variety, perhaps sometimes you can find like these types of printed papers in whatever text weight, you know what I mean? But then you just, you know, all you have to do is just glue it down to a cardstock weight for something, you know, to make it applicable for something like this, you know, where you want to have, you know, the panels and everything like that, you know, have a little bit more body and stiffness to them, you know, for like a door, right? So anyways, yeah, I just use the 3M spray adhesives, but there's all kinds of them out there that you can use. And like I said, it makes quick work of it. And I don't know, they're not very expensive, and you can get, you know, I don't know, I wasn't making pop-up, you know, hidden window cards, but I think I mounted, I don't know, 300 pieces of, you know, quarter page, half page pieces before I ran out of the last can that I was using. So it really lasts a really long time. Thanks so much for watching here. You know, hope, you know, people explore this. I'd like to see some other, kind of ideas out there. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a real long type of process either. If you're doing a quarter-page card, maybe just have one panel back in there, wherever a tree is or something like that. And I think that would be pretty cool. You can do a hidden thing. You have a squirrel out here or something like that, and you have this little hidden panel that goes like this, and there's, you have a bunch of acorns in there or something like that. When that, something like that would be kind of fun. And you have like one thing, one hidden panel like that, and I think it just makes it really cool to do. Go to bed. Have a good night after that day of streaming there with the printmaking, Heather. Hope you have a great rest of evening. Linda B. Hope your all-nighter is fun working on 3 to 4 of these. All right, everyone. Hope you have a good night and a great weekend. We'll see you on the next live stream or checking out one of the vids. Thanks as always for tuning in.